Us.
Good morning. So I'm going to talk about the federal budget, and the first part of that is money. The federal budget is money, and specifically it's the money that is spent by Congress and government each year. And it's a lot of money. So the natural question is how much money, and we can show a little graph of that. So this yellow line is how many dollars were spent that year in that year's currency in the last century. The blue line normalizes it to the value of the dollar in 2000, which might be a little bit more accurate. This first bump here is in World War II. This is more recent. We're basically at $3 trillion. That's a lot of money. So where does it all go? That's sort of the next natural question, and we can look at that too. We're spending about a fifth on defense. That's all military right there, Social Security. This is physical resources, so this is all of the environmental money we're spending, also like upkeep on all of the land that the government owns. That human resources block is sort of confusing. That expands out to contain education, all the healthcare, all the Medicare, and the income security. So why do you care about this? Well, because you're funding it. The budget is almost half funded purely by individual taxes, and then a lot more by social insurance. That's Medicare and Social Security payments. Corporations pay only about 14–15%. This was from 2007. And now I'm just going to transition for a second. That was about the money. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about how the budget gets created, how it gets spent in Congress. So how the budget gets made. Well, this story, like many, starts with the president. And on the first Monday of February, the president will submit a proposed budget to Congress. And it's really not him, it's this guy who is currently the chair of the Cabinet Office of Management and Budget, whose job is to make this budget. And then there's a back and forth. The Congress will take the president's budget and will come up with their own proposed budget and send it back to the president to either sign into law or veto. And so there's a back and forth. And the fiscal year for the government starts in October, so that's when that year's budget will go into effect. So, how is it spent? Hopefully not on balloons. Well, there's two types of money. There are mandatory funds and discretionary funds, and these are pretty much what they sound like. Mandatory funds contain Medicare, Social Security, salaries of federal judges. These are things that have been promised already. There's already agencies that have been set up to deal with these, and that money, once the budget is approved, just goes to the agencies to deal with. And there's very little interaction with Congress beyond simply allocating money for that year to the agency in the budget. Discretionary funds, on the other hand, are the funds that Congress has the discretion to see how they're spent. And these go through a process to get spent. And that process has two steps: authorization and appropriation. So here's the process. In the authorization step, one of the Congress subcommittees that has oversight over that budget item, which is a very large budget, will authorize some amount of that budget to go to an agency or to some project. And the project gets set up, and then when the project needs money that's been authorized to spend, it needs to appropriate that money into itself. So it's a two-step process, which is a little bit more. And that, in a nutshell, is the federal budget.
All right.
Thank you.
Great job, Will. Thank you.